Welcome to Zero Fucks Given. I'm Krista, and joining me today is Carson Block and Freddy Brick. What's going on, guys?
Lots.
That's your best ever intro.
I know.
That is.
I got really excited, and I was like, no.
It's because you just haven't had enough to drink yet.
Yeah.
You're literally like 4 or 5 sips in, right?
You told me it's better when I drink.
Honestly,
Like,
everything
everything about your performance is better when you
Everything about you is better when you drink. To excess for you.
So am I annoying when I don't drink?
Be
honest.
You're enhanced. It's like as long
No, when
as
she
No, when I do
no, when she
not
doesn't
drink.
drink, is she
No, I
annoying?
know. No, it's like
You're
Lance
na-
Armstrong's good at riding a bike, but give that motherfucker EPO and he's front of the pack. You're a moderately performing secretary. Get you juiced up. You are queen of the secretaries.
And you see the douchebags that I work with. You're listening to them right here, right now. Yeah, I'm the queen of secretaries over here. Speaking of, I don't know. I want to talk about this item because I don't know anything about it. Soren having the same shoes as Edwin and the implications of Soren's coolness. What's that all about?
Well, hang on. Not implications of his coolness, I think, for his
Coolness.
possible coolness.
Yeah.
Okay.
For his coolness that he perceives him to have, yet
Yeah.
is not necessarily
All right,
perceived
well-
by the rest of us.
Tell our audience a little
Look,
bit about this
I
item
think
because
it's-
everybody's like, who cares?
I think it's fair to say that short sellers as a group.
So who's Edwin?
We'll get to
Let's-
that in a minute. But
Okay.
I think it's fair to say that short sellers as a group.
We got
are
a
not
lot
the
of
most
foreplay here before we fuck.
stylish, cool people on the planet. Like as a group, if you kind of zoomed out and took 50 of us, you wouldn't be like, oh wow, what is that? Like a collections of
Come on,
models
man.
and triathletes?
Hang on. It takes a very stylish man to come in here and not wear socks with his Nikes and,
No,
like,
I think I'm
somewhat
onto
like
what
high
he's
water
saying.
jeans. Like
I
this
totally-
is stylish. What are you talking about?
When I
Okay,
look
that
at the
makes me-
guys I work with, I'm looking at, I'm like, look at this fucking motley crew.
Cool, we're the tallest midgets. Well done. You probably can't say that anymore. Fine.
No.
My point being,
It's a safe space here.
I
You're,
think-
Is it though?
you're encouraged to say it.
I think that Soren probably considers himself amongst the more elegantly
Cool.
dressed,
Yes.
coiffed,
I could see that.
coiffured of
Right.
the short sellers.
But the bar is low, but
The
yes,
bar's
he's
really
he's like
fucking
a,
low.
I don't know, the Cindy Crawford
I'll
of,
just put it out there. I've met Edwin Dorsey. Definitely don't think he's in the middle coolness of the short sellers. And the other week,
I need to see a picture of him.
He posted a picture of himself.
Can we see it?
At the zoo or something.
Okay.
Is this Edwin?
Edwin. Edwin writes
So-
a thing called the Bear Cave.
Right.
So he writes for
Like a newsletter.
a publication. Okay.
Yeah, which he sells for money. And anyway, he posted a picture of himself, and he's wearing these shoes, which I happen to like know as Enya. They're reasonably popular. And Soren pipes up and is like, oh, I've got those shoes as well. And the question is Edwin rising up the ranks of coolness? Or by wearing the same pair of shoes, are they actually, and always have been, at the same level of coolness? What do you think?
Well, I actually am bothered by another question or series of questions, which is,
Oh,
why would you know just from seeing a picture that these are Xenia shoes? And by the way, we had this little email dialogue, I think it was yesterday, where you were ripping on Chamath, and you said, oh, I don't actually think he's that smart. He just figured out how to wear Loro something, blah,
Laura
blah.
Piana?
Laura
Laura
Piana.
Piana?
Yeah, like, what the fuck is that? What's...
So he
So,
repeatedly
Number one,
tells people...
he is gay as the day is long.
No.
This,
he,
this,
Which is, that's
this
all
is-
an item
this is-
within its
this
own.
This is not contradicted by, like the fixation on clothing, so
Firstly,
yeah.
He
the
reminds
fact that you don't know these are Xenia shoes and the
I
Chamath
know.
wears
Well,
Laura
tell you
Piana
what.
is the reason we're not running $8 billion, okay? Because the guys who know that shit are good at raising money.
But here's the thing. it's not necessarily that I didn't know they're Xenia shoes. I didn't even look. Why are you looking? What the fuck do you care?
was a picture of Edwin.
Why?
I was just
Why-
curious.
And you're looking at the feet?
It got down to the feet. I
This
mean,
is
like
just
I
weird.
started like looking
This-
at like what
this-
was the picture.
So
This is just-
I
this is
think-
just
so
weird, bro.
Edwin is the
How-
guy
like,
that was.
So you got past the feet. Like, do you have a sense of like the diameter of his nipples? Like, have you thought that through? Like, what do you?
But are
like,
you
this
surprised?
is just weird.
He's said some things to me before where I'm like, this dude is gay. But yeah. Anyhow, I mean, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, I'm sorry that you're kind of like shocked, but yeah.
Dude, this guy recently got out of Birkenstocks, okay? Which my wife tells me are fucking cool again. So like that's how into fashion you are. Anyway,
Right, and I'm like,
the conclusion
I'm
here.
not, unproud of that. I
The,
mean,
the
like,
conclusion here. I'm still cooler than you because I know these things.
Well, that's true, and I don't know. It's because you
I guess
know
it
these
depends
things.
on the crowd.
Depends on the crowd.
Well, he's younger and he's like European. He's just hip, you know.
More popular in prison.
Sure.
I mean, hopefully.
Thought long and hard about that actually. No pun intended.
Okay, well, I'm still baffled why this was an item on today's ZFG, but moving on.
Well, it went from questions of Soren's coolness to
questions of
of my
his
homosexuality.
sexuality. Absolutely.
/ coolness. I mean, it's just, like it.
Slippery
I
slope.
just don't think guys who know a lot about fashion are that cool. Like, I just,
Disagree.
That's why he's
So, by the
our
way, we once went tie shopping. So we went to Selfridges, which is a large department store in the UK, okay? For a guy who doesn't know a lot about fashion, he sure is fucking picky about red ties.
Who?
Carson.
Well, I had to go on. I had to present the next day at like Irish in London. I forgot
They-
to bring my tie.
they have
so
a-
I'm not gonna show up with like a fucking shitbag tie or a Versace
So
tie.
did you bring a red? Did you get?
No, I
did you
for-
purchase a red tie?
Yeah, I bought a red tie, but I
Did
just
you-
wanted one that
did
didn't
you
look
wear
fucking.
a little, like-
I just wanted one that didn't look fucking stupid.
American flag.
Sorry, Krista. He's like all nonchalant. Yeah, I bought a red tie. Like, it wasn't like walks in, yo, just give me an Hermes red tie or something. There's a fucking color spectrum here that would make, like, I don't know, David Attenborough or like fucking Leonardo da Vinci be like, oh yeah, that's kind of like, pretty intense. There was maybe 800 ties, of which 60 are red. And instead of just being like, yeah, that's a good one, I'll take that, it took like half an hour to go through like red ties. I don't know
Well,
if he's matching it up.
He's
with
also
eye color,
questionable. This
Okay.
guy.
the hue of the light and the
So you want to know the truth?
yeah.
I'm sitting there thinking like, which ones of these would Freddy wear? Oh fuck! I better not choose that one.
So you chose like probably a deep red, and if Freddie was with you and he had, which he
You need more
was,
fuchsia in that.
I was like, you totally fuchsia. You are so fuchsia, you don't even know.
Red's the one color. I just don't think it looks
No,
good
but
on
you
me.
love pink.
I'd rock pink, but like
He loves pink.
So I've actually heard, and I don't know whether this is actually true, but there's a theory, and maybe there's some research to back this up, that when people are wearing red ties, they are subconsciously perceived by others as untrustworthy because it's like, red, stoplight, that kind of thing.
interesting.
Is it?
And look who's got an almost red blouse there.
This is orange.
Just badly washed orange.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's a little faded orange. You're right. So that's like, whoa, hold up. You got to think this one through here.
This might have come from
You might
Well, you hold up.
want to step on the gas. You might want to step on the brake.
Hold on,
That's what this
Fonzie.
says.
What's this story here? You probably don't know that
Right.
reference. do
Instead
you?
of turning this into zero
I know,
factions
I
given,
know.
let's
Yeah,
move on to the next.
Okay,
Zero fucks about fashion given.
so this was a new item that was added today. Scott had sent you this, but the Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill wants to be a porn star when he retires, and he said this on a podcast. Did you read? Did you?
I did, and like the whole time I'm thinking,
I know.
what a fucking coincidence. Me too.
Totally. I swear to God, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, is
I
this
do a
Carson
scene with
Block
him as long as there's like, a woman in the middle and all. But yeah, I'm like, dude, I've wanted that
He
my
was
whole
dead
life.
serious, and I think the guy he was telling it to was just didn't know what the hell to say to him.
Actually, when I was in college, I met this guy who.
Oh, here we go.
This was at USC, right? And back then, they actually made porn in California. I think they stopped doing that ever since like California passed a law requiring you to wear condoms in porn, which
the saddest
it's
thing
like
I've ever heard.
I know, like just come on, right? So but
where
anyway,
do they shoot the porn now?
I think in Nevada. But anyway, so this guy was telling me that there was job opportunities available for the right kind of men as stunt cocks, and so he's like, like your parents aren't gonna
Yeah.
see you or recognize you, so it's like perfect. So yeah, that always intrigued me, that idea of like.
So, am I gonna see like some random video with you in it, or you're just your?
Well, I don't
dick,
know.
or-
How would you recognize? Would you?
No, I
recognize?
wouldn't.
Are you
I wouldn't
sure?
know. I might have already seen it.
There are some nights you've had a wee bit to drink, Krista.
Question then. So do you have?
Oh, what are you wearing?
Well, so no. There's two
Are you
questions
fully-
to my mind.
Well, yeah,
God.
and like I don't have to worry about fashion, right? I just go in like with it hanging out, and we're
So- so
we're good.
I have two questions here. Like, so I'm sure like the biggest artists in Hollywood like have their own stunt double, and they want to try and match it to like the build.
yeah,
And
Tom Cruise does his own stunts.
Tom Cruise
does.
does.
Some of these guys do their own
because he's
stunts.
protected by Xeno, so
That's true.
Nothing will come
you don't
to
fuck
him.
with Xenu, yeah.
Nope.
But like does like I don't know whatever like ex-male porn star like does he? Because you have to like match the cock up, right? You can't have like okay it's some like
Why are you asking
dude with
him?
a 12-inch cock and then like the stunt cock comes in and like
Well,
it's
no,
a
but
3-incher dribbling
no, but
it
it'd be
out.
the other way around because you have like. You hire this guy because he's a good actor, but he's got like a 3-incher.
Yeah.
So then you bring
Which
in
I'm
like
sure is a
the guy
lot.
with 12 inches, but isn't a good quality
Not a
actor.
gifted actor.
He's not
But
a gifted actor.
have
He
you ever
hasn't.
noticed
he
that
hasn't
the-
studied drama.
That's never an issue because the actors never show their dicks. Pardon my language, but it's
Wait, in porn?
no. Oh, I was just talking about regular movies. Sorry, I wasn't talking.
What fucking planet are you on?
I drifted
What
off a
fucking
little
planet
bit.
are you on? Like, you're the one who read the headline about Tyreek Hill wanting to do
Sorry.
porn.
Wow. Oh well.
I mean, do you think they have stunt cocks in regular movies? Really?
What the hell are you laughing at? Shut up. Gay boy? Whatever. All right. Can we move on?
I mean, for purposes of this podcast, okay, but this is definitely getting talked about later tonight.
Shut up.
Yeah. When we go to see Dumb Money, because Soren has rented
Yeah.
Dumb Money, and we're just gonna holler out like, "Hey, Krista, do you think they're gonna bring the stunt cock?"
Seth Rogen stunt cock.
Oh, that's a fucking stunt cock. That's not really him.
Oh, yes, I work with assholes. But moving on. Let's see. I don't know. What do we want to talk about?
We're gonna have to cut that whole part.
Why?
Well, where you're like, let's see.
Oh.
Let's see. Not that.
She got the intro right. We can.
Oh, ball tanning. New host Tucker Carlson. Nut solution to.
Okay, wait. So, don't fuck it up. All right. So anyway, like no, the whole like Tucker Carlson did this documentary on
I like the title of it.
right, but so
Okay.
he did this I guess documentary on masculinity in America, and I mean as an aside, I think he's a toxic clown, but there's some points to this, like having young kids now. I sort of see how certain parts of society are really trying to shape boys into being like non-men, but that's for another day. But anyway, so he laments the declining testosterone levels that have been observed in American males, and that's a real thing.
Yep.
So one of his solutions is tanning your testicles. Yeah. And so his documentary, which I haven't seen, but it shows this graphic of this, I don't know, it's almost like a Jesus-like guy. He's like standing naked. He's got his arms outstretched.
Yeah.
And it's like, so he's totally naked, but the view of his cock is blocked. No pun intended. by some device that seems to be like a tanning machine, and you see this like red light being cast on his inner
It's the red
thighs.
light therapy. I actually
So-
have one of those.
Cox or red light therapy?
Both, exactly. I have both, but that's for a different episode.
So anyway, like we should discuss that. But so anyway, like this image that he actually showed in his documentary was widely ridiculed as, for a guy who's supposed to be, trying to act like the paragon of heterosexual masculinity, is incredibly homoerotic. Anyway, I'm just like scrolling on Twitter, like not yet hitting my, daily allotment of 600 tweets I'm allowed to see as an on blue check or something. And I see a tweet from Mark Yusko. Now, I respect Mark. I like Mark. And, he's FinTwit personality. He's got, fund to funds. But as much as I like him, his tweet was about, he's extolling the virtues of getting some sun. So he shows him outside, and he's got his head back and eyes closed and this expression on his face that made me think exactly of that fucking like testicle tanning Jesus Tucker Carlson dude. So if you're watching this, it's always better in video than, in audio. So you're going to see the comparison of the two. But anyway, I just thought it was fun. Funny.
So-
I respect the guy. I'm not, I like Mark, talked to him a number of times, but that was actually just kind of funny.
The ball turning
Will
thing
Mark come on the show?
is super weird. Always reminds me of the South Park where they're trying to get like testicular cancer so they can access weed. Like
Right.
the connection.
I think
is
that's
there.
genius.
Do you guys know about perineal tanning?
No, what is
This
that?
is the art of getting sun on, I think, your asshole. This is like all part of the same.
So
who
read.
does that?
I once read this book called The Tao of Sexology
Okay.
by a guy named Mantek Chia, and this was recommended to me by somebody whose recommendations after I read this book I vowed I will never trust. But yeah, like Mantek Chia is like, cancer, goes like. Cancer is caused by infections in the rectum, so you should always, salute the sun every morning by, pointing your asshole up at the sun, and it will sterilize it. And he goes in like, and that's why, that's why colorectal cancer rates among gay men are much lower than among heterosexual men. And I think there's absolutely zero evidence for that proposition, but at least that was my recollection at the time. But this gets into like a very shocker, like this gets into a real world of pseudoscience and conspiracy theory and bullshit like that. But anyway, yeah, Jesus-like guy getting the Tucker Carlson laser on his balls did also remind me of the South Park episode where
But
they were all
that
sticking their
South Park
balls in the
episode
microwave.
sounds- I don't know that South Park episode.
So like KFC closed down because it was replaced by a medical cannabis store. And so this is before Colorado had legalized it for general, general consumption. So you needed a prescription. So all these guys in town, led by Randy's father, were like putting their balls in the microwave so that they could like swell up and get cancer, and they could get scripts for weed. And so they're bouncing around town on their
Whoever wrote that,
hugely
that's
inflated
genius.
ball sack, totally high. It's such a great South Park episode.
While we're on the topic of that part of the body, I want to bring up interesting guy. I think we might have talked about him before. This guy who's trying to remain young forever. He's some Silicon Valley douchebag. His name's like Bryan something. He founded Braintree.
Bryan something who founded Braintree.
Just Google
I will.
guy trying to stay young, Silicon Valley tech executive.
I'll get a
he's-
lot
He
of
spends like
guys.
$1 million and a half a year on like treatments to keep his insides young.
So there's two things just at a high level I find weird. Like, what the fuck are you spending $2 million on? I mean, like, even in the US.
Do you think it's like shoes? Just putting it out there.
He's sticking Xenia ties up his ass. I'm young.
Sorry.
So, $2 million is a real amount of money. It kind of reminds me of the
real number.
Entourage where, Marv, the business manager, is like chastising Eric because they're spending so much money, and he's like, "Your brother's spending like $1,700 a month on vitamins. No one could eat that
Vitamins.
many vitamins and stay alive."
I
Like
think he's saying
seriously, like
vitamins.
what are you spending $2 million on a year? So he has these weird things where like one of the treatments he did was like receiving some like a blood transfusion from his son, and then he stopped doing that after 9 months.
Oh, you're turning
Yeah.
your fucking children into blood bags?
Super fucking creepy. The other thing about it that I find weird is
God, I hate these fucking people.
it broke down his routine, and he's spending about 6 hours a day on shit to keep himself alive longer. Even if, you assume you're alive, if you assume you're awake 18 hours a day, which I'm not, but let's say this dude is, if you're spending a third of your day extending your life, like, net, dude, you could just spend it doing shit you want to do. Not have to drag it out where you're like, oh, I'm 120, but I feel like an 86-year-old inside.
All my friends are dead.
Yeah.
My children are dead.
Yeah.
Like, I've outlived them all. And, yeah.
But there's two things that he's doing that are really getting the deep end of creepiness. I'm going to save the creepiest bit for the
Wait,
end.
beyond, like, stealing his son's blood?
Yeah,
At the
that's
level, he's taken to monitoring his erections while he sleeps because he wants to get his level like of the sexual virility, I guess, back to the level of like an
When he-
18-year-old boy.
Why?
So
Why?
So, dude.
Like, dude, that sucked.
Sucked.
It's like all you want to do is
Constantly.
fuck. All you think
Right.
about is fucking, and all you don't do is
not.
fuck.
Yes.
Like, right?
So there's two things about it. Firstly, if you have the sexual health of like an 18-year-old, you don't need to measure your erection in your sleep. You constantly have an erection walking around during the day.
Exactly.
So it just seems like a really kind of stupid thing to be monitoring.
Like, think back to all those times in high school when the teacher, told you to come up and try to solve the equation on the board, and you're like, no. Like, come on.
Don't
like,
know the
this-
answer. I'm like, doesn't matter.
This was. I'll take the F. Like, this wasn't helpful. Like, come on.
Right. So there's that, and then the second thing, which I'm going to show, which I find super fucking creepy,
Now I'm gonna look this guy up.
is the photo of this dude in the article.
Ooh. What?
Wait, what is happening
Wait,
in
what's
this?
the? Wait,
We
who's?
will
which
show
one-
this
which
to
one
our
is
That's the
this?
viewers.
creepy dude, Brian. That's the son.
And is that the father?
That's the father. Like, have you ever seen anything creepier than that? Yes, you fucking
There-
have. Oh yeah, that bad boy. Yeah, that's also pretty fucking sick.
Freddie, what shoes are they wearing?
Yeah, we're gonna have to
This
show
dude, serious fucking creep, right? But that's
That's
pretty on
fabulous.
point.
That's
Oh my God.
fantastic.
That'd make
Wow.
a great album cover for us.
Yeah.
I think his.
want that.
I think his son can't be saved at this point. I'm sorry to say.
No way.
Is
Yeah.
that? Would you ever even hug your father like that?
What?
Let's
What?
freak him out.
Man, I mean,
He's like, I haven't hugged anybody since 1977.
I gotta tell you, that Boys and Girls is like the logical
I
extension.
can't
of-
wait for our viewers
of
to
what-
see that.
Of what
This-
you allow
That's
if Silicon
crazy.
Valley's like successful.
So that was the picture with the article?
Yeah.
That's so.
Creepy.
And do you think?
I'd say just go and tan the testicles, man.
Yeah.
Get you a lot further with a lot less weirdness. I mean,
No, I mean,
a
he's
lot
just-
less weirdness.
I mean, it's sexual. It's very.
it's really,
It's
it's really
really-
sexual and.
Like-
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
no.
almost-
It's a total incest vibe.
I mean,
and
it-
already
it-
sharing blood.
They're
it's
pretty
sort of like-
reserved, but it's pretty creepy.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like.
It's-
you kind of
and-
think
and
like
our
that's the
viewers will
cover
see
of
it.
the March issue of Nambla, monthly or some shit. I
That's
mean,
exactly
it's fucking
what I was
horrific.
thinking.
Yeah, that's horrific. Fuck that guy. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I hadn't even seen pictures of him. I
Yeah.
hadn't, read anything other than like he spends 7 figures a year trying to live forever, which I meant like I really hate fucking Silicon Valley people, and there's so many of them, right? It's just so I'm reading that Elon Musk biography, and it's funny because I read this account of this exchange that Elon Musk had years ago with Larry Page, in which Elon was saying, like, dude, like we got to watch out with the development of AI. This could, this could kill off humanity. And Larry Page. And it's funny because I've told people before, I've had this exact same conversation with Silicon Valley AI douches in the past, where I'll say, like, yeah, I think we've seen some movies about how this goes badly, and and then they all compete to sound like the most fucking autistic when they respond. Well, if that were to be humanity's ultimate fate, then that would merely be a continuation of eons of evolutionary processes that have occurred not only on this planet, but probably on many other planets. Like some shit like that. So Larry Page fucking does that to Elon. And credit to Elon for being, fuck you, right? And so anyway, that's, but I mean, this is just more of this like absurd,
it's
like,
absurd.
let me see how just...
It's absurd.
Yeah, like, and I'm just going to speak like I'm autistic, and hopefully then people will like forgive the fact that like my father's jerking me off in this picture while I'm like giving my son a hand job and stealing his blood, and it's fucking horrible.
What?
It's a
Fuck
good
these
time
people.
to talk about the recent hand job you got in public.
Oh man.
What are you talking about? I don't know.
It's not on the board.
It's not on the board, but
you weren't
this
drunk
is...
when we asked you to include this. This is awesome. Now, as a guy who's had many an issue in an airport, I can very pleasingly say I have not had this happen to me yet.
What happened?
Yet. All right. So last week when I flew up to Chicago from Austin, so like I'm TSA pre, right? So I go through the pre-check thing. I mean, do you want to hear the fucking story, or you want to like,
No.
Okay. So like, I keep the belt on because you're allowed to do that. So I walk through the magnometer and it goes off. Now the agent on the other side of the magnometer says, oh yeah, that's just random screening. Like it's programmed to go off 1 out of every X times. So they got to put me through the like hands up machine, right? So I just go right to the hands up machine. Now again, this hands up machine is next to the magnometer for TSA pre. So presumably people going through it are gonna, like have belts and shit on. So I walk through it, and there's a different agent on the other side of this, and he puts his hand up and he says, hold on. He's like, doing the earpiece thing. And then he says, yeah, okay. And I turn around, I look at the screen, and, I see like the outline of, a figure there, and it's got a box drawn around my waist. So he says something about a belt, and I'm like, oh yeah, my belt, right? So, it's not 3 pounds of Semtex, it's the fucking belt. So I got the belt in my hand. I'm about to, walk through the hands up machine again, and, he puts up his hand telling me to wait. And so then, now also, look, it's a checkpoint, so it's already normally loud. But the fucking fire alarm is going off at the same time. It's telling everybody to go to the emergency exits. Now, fortunately, they had people standing at the emergency exits telling you, no, ignore the fire alarm, it's not real. But it's just loud, right? And so this guy, his demeanor now, he's got like this 1,000-yard stare on his face. And he just mumbles something at me for, 15 seconds. It's like, no, pat down, buttocks, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't get any, so I'm there holding my belt, and, like, sorry, repeat that, please?
I would paid some serious money. I want this video so badly.
And, like, all I get is pat down buttocks. I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I've been patted down at these things before, so fine. So, like, I put my hands up, like, all right, go ahead. And he asks, do you want to do this here? I'm thinking, what? Like, as opposed to adding fucking 15 minutes to my, time, like, jerking off with you guys? Like, yeah, just do it here. Holy shit. I had no idea what I had in store. So in front of like all these people, he walks around my back, takes my waistband, pulls it open, looks down my fucking pants, like see my ass. All right, then he starts patting down my ass, like into my fucking ass crack, way into my ass crack. Then up to like my thighs, up to my ball, like ball, like into ball sack. No, trousers or pants up.
That's why he asked if you wanted to do it here.
Right. Then he comes around to the front, and it's more ball sack, and then he's got his hands like on my dick for 3 strokes, dude. I mean, fucking like it wasn't an accident. It was like, it's like top, right side, left side, and I'm like,
You basically were raped.
yeah, seriously. I mean, like, what the fuck? I mean, I was in shock, and then I'm like, I'm get out of here because I don't want to fucking get hard.
I was just gonna ask that, like, where you're like, what?
Nah, no, but you know what? He was a ginger, so like,
Oh.
it's just like,
It
just
gets
definitely
worse.
not going
The
to do it
story
for
gets
me.
worse.
I know, like,
Ugh, that's
ugh.
worse.
Ginger dude. Ugh.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah.
He was a ginger and he had
No,
two,
but
two
man,
fingers and
man, like what the fuck? Like seriously, like what the fuck is
I
it
can't
about
believe
these
you waited
rules?
this long to tell me.
Well, what the
This is
fuck is it
good.
about these rules that they've written? Like, like it's not going to cause the plane to blow up if you let me put the fucking belt through the goddamn conveyor and walk through it again, and you won't see the goddamn box there. Instead of like, look, he didn't want to do it either. That's why
What
the guy had the
airport was
1,000.
this at?
This was Austin. He did. It's not like an Austin specific thing. It's not like the West Hollywood airport. It's like. This is just like standard TSA bullshit operating procedure. And
That's some
I got to
crazy
tell you, it's
shit.
like I was joking about this during like, the investigation, that we went through, and but it's like all these things that happen. It's like every time. It's just like I'm a step closer to joining some fucking anti-government militia in Michigan. Like more and more, I start to think these guys have a point. Like fuck you, don't touch my dick. Like just
Yeah.
because I had the belt on still when I went through the thing. I mean, anyway, yeah. It's like,
Ladies, you heard it here.
And then lo and behold, a week later, Krista found that article about that random dude who's been dressing up as a TSA agent, jerking dudes off
What?
at the Austin airport. Yeah, turns out it wasn't a TSA guy.
Oh yeah.
Just some dude getting...
Yes.
turns out
I
that he
said that to you, right?
turns out that he'd
It
found
was
a way.
so crazy.
Turns out that he'd found a way to make the magnometer beep at will.
I honestly
I
did
guess I
not
should
connect.
take that as
I
a
did not
compliment.
connect it. Wow.
Like the pre-losing weight me would have gotten through there, wouldn't have been jerked off. But like now I'm looking good.
It's like, yeah, give me some beef.
It's like
Next
like
thing you know, they're like arresting him.
The LL in Cool J stands for Ladies Love. Where I think for me I should be like fucking TSAL.
Oh, man. Oh, well, I'll have to avoid that, dude. Like, go to Austin Airport. I guess I don't...
I mean, you've had every other mishap one could imagine
exactly.
at an airport. So
I'm like, yeah, I see you, Ginger. I know this is not random. I bought my own lube.
I like that you told us he was a ginger at the end.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
Ooh,
It's just the coup de grace.
yeah. Ooh. What else do we got? Who wanted to mention China assets are ridiculously cheap?
Okay, so I came across that Bloomberg had this article last night that the you wrote Alberto Fund, the Alberta Public Pension Fund CEO said China assets are ridiculously cheap, and so like I sent this to you guys because I figured we were going to make fun of him, but then I actually read the article, and I think this is another example of Bloomberg, just doing their usual clickbait bullshit, exaggerated headline. Because he was talking about, like they're investing pan-Asia. They don't want to invest in assets that are in China, but that are outside of China, benefiting from China. So muddy waters, Asia. Clearly, smart guy, super fucking smart.
Very fucking
Nothing
smart.
to make fun of at all.
Yeah,
nothing at all.
Very smart.
Very
Muddy
smart.
Waters.
And a lot of
yes.
plugins.
They wouldn't have heard any of that.
No.
Anthony's gonna
Compliance,
make
dude.
Yeah.
No, Anthony, you're not taking it out. This government owes me. All right, especially after especially after making me soil my fucking pants at that checkpoint. This government owes me. You're not taking this out.
So yeah, what else do we have?
I've got an excellent business idea.
Okay.
Really, really. Like, this is, honestly, it's so good. I don't know if I want to broadcast it here, but fuck it. So I was reading this article about some guys in India who are suing Facebook. Now, they are suing Facebook because they have to work in one of these like little moderation booths where they're just getting
traumatized, right?
highly traumatized. And this particular group was screening for all the like white supremacist, neo-Nazi stuff.
Bad move to have people of color screening out the white supremacist
This
shit.
is where I'm going. Now, I don't know if they are or aren't traumatized, but whatever. So I'm thinking, hold on. You've got this large population of people in the US who work for 8 cents an hour
Yeah.
because they're in
There you
prison.
go. There you go.
And who on the planet is better qualified and is going to get more enjoyment than like dudes in the Aryan Brotherhood sat there sweating their ass off in prison all day to be the guys doing the moderating? Now, the best part of all of this is like not only is the labor cheaper than India and Facebook are getting the fucking best guys on the planet at like clicking on white supremacy stuff. If you don't tell the dudes why they're clicking on this stuff, if you kind of gamify it internally and be like, look, if you click on the stuff that you think's the, best, most hateful stuff, and, if you tag it correctly, like, you'll get an extra 1 cent an hour. Imagine how fucking awesome they're going to feel when they come out of prison and it turns out it wasn't a video game and they are single-handedly responsible for reducing the amount of like white supremacist hate on the internet by like 60 to 70%. Like that's going to be the sweetest kicker. So I am genuinely looking into this because I know there are all these like horrible companies that like kind of run sweatshop labors at prison. So if you work in the Bureau of Prisons,
Contact him?
or you're hooked up with the Brotherhood, which I'm not super hooked up, but like we can put in a middleman who's like midway hatred and get me hooked up. I'm kind of really interested to explore this and see if we can actually turn this into a real business model.
Yeah, problem is, and I think you and I have discussed this before, and you must have forgotten, but my version of this will way underprice yours.
Okay.
Okay, so my second biggest disappointment from the Trump years, the biggest disappointment being, of course, that he tried to overthrow the government. Second biggest was that when he kind of warmed up relationship with Kim Jong-un, that we didn't get access to North Korean prison labor. Remember, we used to talk about all the
That's
wonderful
true.
things we could do with North Korean prison labor?
Also known as the North Korean population.
Right, well, but the ones who are
Yes.
the unfortunate among the unfortunate.
Yes.
So, yeah, what would it cost to get North Korean prisoners to do this? And them feel traumatized? Shit, this would be like the best
That's
thing
a
they've
good
had
job.
happen in their whole lives.
True.
Just,
Wow.
yeah.
That's the language barrier, though.
Not really. Especially with Google Translate.
That's true. AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we probably need an AI dimension into this.
Yeah, so I can appreciate the irony of the Aryan Brotherhood, but you just can't afford them. And P.S. I think some of them is just for the cause. They don't care if it shortens their sentences. They're not going to moderate it well. But the North Korean prisoners,
Okay.
they don't have the cushy prisons that the U.S. does, right? They'll want to get the fuck out.
We know Kim Jong-un watches this religiously. So if you're watching, Kim Jong,
Especially
who
because there
wouldn't?
is no religion in
Yeah.
North Korea. So yeah,
other than he, the supreme leader.
other than that.
So yeah, if you're watching and
Which he
you're trying
is.
to outcompete, the California Prison Bureau, give us a call.
Well, I'm not sure there's a California Prison Bureau anymore. They all seem to be on the streets. Which, speaking of that, so then I went to San Francisco and I had to
Good
go.
old SF. How is it?
Kind of seems like everything you've heard. It was.
Is it worse than? First of all, did
listen.
you go out to dinner there? I didn't even speak.
I did, and I was
Where?
disappointed. So I went to Hillstones, and I used to love that. I used to love that restaurant in San Fran.
Yeah.
So first of all, it used to have excellent service, better than San Fran. So when the rest of San Francisco started, imposing those, they call it the SF mandate, which is always bullshit. It was always optional. they did not have the SF mandate. As soon as a place puts that on the bill, like service goes to total shit because it's like, you know.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I was, you know, I unhappily saw that their SF mandate is now 5% at Hillstones. You know what they don't have on the fucking menu anymore?
Artichokes?
No, they did have the artichokes. That was the saving grace. They didn't have prime rib. Like,
What?
Yeah, what
Like
the
the
fuck?
French- no,
They don't have
I mean,
prime rib.
Hillstone is known for the prime rib.
Not anymore, apparently, at least not there. And then the other
Yeah.
funny thing, and this, you know, so I ordered, like, you know, a nice bottle of wine.
spinach?
I ordered a nice bottle of wine, and I asked them if they'd decant it, and they're like, oh, we don't have decanters. So they brought out like a big mason jar.
What?
I'm like, for a $300 bottle of wine? Like,
Sorry, did you
really?
think I meant
So-
moonshine? What are we doing
Yeah,
here?
so,
What's going
so
on?
like that. So this is just, I think, a sign of the general deterioration of Hillstones, in that, you know, this is one of the wine capitals of the world, right? And they're,
So
you know,
I was curious,
but like to your bigger point. So here's, you know, I think like a few weeks ago, I bitched about like the bag, you know, when we were back in Sonoma County, and I was teaching my kids that, you know, they need to do the right thing and use the self-checkout lane at the supermarket so they could say 0 bags and then take a bunch. So anyway, so there I am at Target, right? Like I had to go and buy some shit at Target, and you know, getting rung up, and she asks me for, you know, and this is in San Francisco, like downtown San Francisco, and she asks me if I want a bag, and I get charged 25 cents for it, and I'm just like, how about I fucking shoplift this bag? Like, I'll pay for all the other shit.
Yeah.
I just want to shoplift the fucking bag. Like, the irony of, like, this city is still charging people 25 cents for fucking bags.
Meanwhile,
when
what's
everybody's, like,
happening is-
ripping the retailers
I mean,
off so
horribly.
badly, they're closing
Horrific.
everywhere. And, you know, the other thing is, like, bags have a role in actually
Totally.
preventing theft. Because, you know, if, like, people are walking out with shit in their hands
Right.
because they didn't pay for it, you know, that used to be a dead giveaway that you didn't pay for it. But now it's like, no, I'm just, I didn't want to pay the 25 cents. I'm an eco-friendly, you know, fucking shoplifter. So anyway, it's like, this California is so thick with irony. It's almost like, I mean, you just can't write these jokes.
I also don't want to
true.
bring it back to fashion, but you can use bags for shoes as well. So that's another thing that's
Oh,
good
boy.
about bags if you're in San Francisco, because a lot of dudes are rocking that look.
See that? You know that?
They're homeless crackheads.
1-800 for a good time. Call Freddy. I swear to God. So where you were staying was the Four Seasons, which is downtown.
Is it cheaper now? It must be a lot.
It
was-
was like what, 500 a night, which
Yeah,
is
like
That's
450.
That's like
450. That's down from a lot.
$800,000.
From a
Yeah.
lot.
And
with tax,
considering
it
that
came to
everything
500.
else went up quite a bit
Yeah.
during that period of time, like that just tells
Dan's
you how.
like, I'm staying there too. I'm like, Dan, it's it's like the holiday
Is
in
the
a
bar still good there?
Yeah.
Or
What's that?
like
The bar?
Yeah.
level? That was always nice.
Yeah, the
loved it.
bar's still nice. We
But, like-
should have had our dinner at the Four Seasons because
That's what I thought. I was like, he didn't ask me. I'm
But I'm like,
wondering
I
where
wanted
he's
the
gonna.
I wanted
I
the
want to go
prime
out.
rib.
I want to maybe get
no,
raped, or maybe
no,
I want to go out.
I wanted the prime rib. Like that's what I was fixated on. So I like dragged all these
Shit,
dudes.
and
I'm
you
like,
got-
no, you got to check out the prime rib there. Like I dragged, you know, all these dudes there. You know, like 6 other guys,
what'd
like
you eat?
for the prime rib.
Honestly, though,
Ribeye.
I gotta say, Hillstone, because they have.
They still have a great French dip sandwich.
They,
Though. Roddy
they,
had
they
that.
also like it's always got a good vibe, and like the staff are cool, and like the bar's always busy, and I think they have like music as well at that one.
But, you know, the service wasn't like that, even really that attentive, to be honest. And like we ended up needlessly bribing the hostess like $200. So I dropped a C because I wanted to have the 2 tables next to each other, and then Dan went and dropped a C, and I was like,
course.
why'd
He's
you do
like,
that? He's like, what do you
'Cause they're-
mean?
I'm not going to the
And he didn't know
strip
that I had done it, but anyway, it's like, you know, so we dropped $200 to have the tables
Yeah.
kind of next to each
Yeah.
other, which they were actually across the aisle. And we still got like pretty
Yeah.
inattentive crap service and a mason jar to decant. So I don't know, man.
I love that
It's just,
mason jar
it's just,
for the can.
it's
Nice
just,
times in
it's
FSAP.
just wasted on him there. It's the bottom line.
It's too bad because it's a pretty city. And
It used to be.
Used
yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
I mean, just, you know, if you could just neutron bomb it. Like,
I mean, I would be scared
you
to
know.
be on Market Street. Like I was like picturing you guys like running for your Uber or car, you know, like literally on wherever, like. I don't
yeah,
know,
like so you never know when like some fucking crazed TSA
I mean, it
agent's
was
going to
pretty-
come out of the shadows and fucking grab your dick.
And there's always that. Well, we can end it on. Oh, actually, do we have anything else?
think that's it, dude.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I didn't. Who wrote that last one? I mean, I wrote it on the.
Oh, Christmas parties. Yeah. So
We have
actually,
one more
I mean,
item.
that was the other business idea I had. So Russell Brand seems to be getting
Lot
cancelled
of
for some
business
quite
item.
rapey stuff.
Quite what? Rapey? Rapey stuff.
And I was just thinking, like, the amount of people now that have been cancelled.
TSA is always hiring.
The amount of people now that have been cancelled, like, across the spectrum of, like, 20, 30 years of, politics and entertainment and all these
Yeah.
things. You could put together a fucking kick-ass, like, and now a lot of businesses are also, like, they're downsizing, they're trying to cut costs, be more economical. We're entering the festive period as we film in September. A lot of people are probably trying to plan their Christmas parties.
We already did.
I reckon you could get, like, kick-ass Christmas packages together with, like, formerly disgraced celebrities. So I'm thinking R. Kelly doing the music, because, like, everyone knows those tunes, like, even if he's a bad dude.
Well, you got to kind of
Warm up.
figure out when he could get to a payphone, right? So it's not as easy as you think.
So we can't just have them for like 2 hours and like ship them back.
I mean, look, I don't know, like, what kind of deal can you work out with the prison guards?
Right.
So no one knows us. So we need to.
I mean, it's like
I
you
need to
could
get
say,
on the
like,
horn.
oh, well,
I need to get on the horn.
I want Harvey Weinstein to produce our corporate promotional
I don't
video.
want
But,
it.
like,
I
how
don't
would
wanna.
you get him enough
Yeah.
time to do that?
Harvey's going to be
This is really
difficult,
scary
but
looking now.
I think, like, you can really, you can have Russell Brand warming the crowd up. I mean, you'd obviously have to keep him the fuck away from
The crowd.
the crowd, but just put personally, kind of like when Obama did his address when he was elected president. He had all the glass in front. Like, if he just kind of did that would be okay. R. Kelly for the entertainment. So, like, it would still be kind of big names. Like, no one would really know that, like, oh, like, like, you guys are really cutting back. You can probably get these guys for cents on the dollar, so you can preserve the kind of allure of having a big splashy Christmas
I
party.
kind of like
You're
this.
really only competing with the license plate business for their
Yeah.
time. If that's
So-
true. Maybe
Go.
the California
Okay.
Bureau of Prisons, which I swear must not exist anymore.
Like
but if
prisons
it did,
in
yeah,
California?
they could basically be like a talent agency.
Yeah.
Like broker.
I feel like you're onto
Broker
something.
some of these guys.
I do. So anyway, I don't know how I feel about
How much talent do you think is there in North Korean prisons?
not
You could underprice it.
not a lot of name recognition. That's the issue, right? So you want to combine that brand equity with cheapness.
I don't know, but like some of those Korean movies, South Korean movies, have done very well, right? Like Parasite
That's
and like what was that one that Quentin
I
Tarantino
love
rented his
Parasite.
name out for? I actually
Oh,
didn't like it.
You
yeah.
like it?
Parasite?
Old
I
Boy,
like-
Old Boy,
yeah.
I
Old Boy.
like Parasite.
Old
like
Boy was
Parasite.
okay. I don't know. I thought Parasite just got ridiculous. But
I think
anyway,
you're ridiculous.
so anyway,
But
like
not
like I think in the
TSA
North they
people,
could do
though.
it like they do in the
It's a hot
South. You know
ticket.
what I mean? So even cheaper. I'm
All right.
we got to look into this. So the next, which will
It's gonna
return
be awesome.
enormous amounts of money to investors, guaranteed, will be the North Korean.
Oh.
North Korean.
Yep.
Lots of
And,
opportunities.
Yeah. Sure.
Are we gonna-
BlackRock
are
will
we
be a
go-
seed investor in that.
Are we gonna have to beep a lot of this out?
Nope.
No, this is First Amendment shit. When I say is going to rock,
Yeah.
that's fucking First Amendment shit. All right,
Okay,
like
Marta.
like no. I mean, like don't push me on this. I will go to Michigan with an AR. I guess I'll
I
buy it
won't
there.
push you on it.
Because I can't get it on the plane, right? I can't even get my fucking belt on the plane.
All right.
Anyway, I'll take it away. Thank you for joining us today. I was going to say this evening, but it's not that late out.
Yeah, you're just looking forward.
Anyway, cheers.